Hello, everybody. This is Catholic Dad, episode number 168. I'm trying a new microphone today. If this doesn't work, I apologize, but I want to talk about generational spirit, something I've been reading about and listening to. Generational spirit, if you don't know what it is, it's essentially that sins live through families, and perhaps it's related to demonic possession. I'm not an expert on this, and I don't claim to be an expert, but I've been thinking about it in terms of being the spiritual leader of a family, being Catholic Dad and all, you know. So here's the deal. Apparently, and this has been the teachings for quite some time, and I think it's probably true to some degree, that fathers pass on their sins and their vices down to their children, down to their sons and their daughters, and mothers do the same thing. And this is something called generational spirit. Perhaps it's related to a demon that gets in the household, and that the sins of the father become the sins of the children. I'm not entirely certain if it's a demon or not, but you do look at family lines, and you do realize that the children tend to become much like the parents. And so I don't know if this is a genetic predisposition, I don't know if it's a cultural predisposition, or if there generally is a generational spirit in terms of a demonic possession of a household. But let's see. I am the spiritual leader of my family. My job is to provide and protect my children and my wife, and also try to get them to heaven, being the spiritual leader of the family. Now, if my sins and my vices are passed down to my children, right, do I try to correct them in my children? No. Well, you would, but what would be a more effective route? It would be correct them in myself, because really, am I able to control my children? No. I mean, if anybody's ever raised children, there's no way on earth you can control your children. It's like herding cats once you get over like two of them, you know? And so, I mean, you can discipline your children, you could teach them, but really, if you want to teach your children, you change your life first. Clean up your own bedroom, as Jordan Peterson would say. And so if you have sins that affect you personally, right, you have to get the confession, try to clean them up, try to mend your life. But realize that you may be harming your children if you don't clean up your life well enough, because you're passing those sins down to your children, perhaps through demonic possession. Now, if your goal is to get your children to heaven, then you really want to start thinking about your own personal sins in your own personal life. Because if you could clean up your life, and then your children can see that, and then they can, if you pass down not just your sins but your virtues, then perhaps you will clean up your children's life by the very nature of cleaning up your own life. And I think that's very important, because, you know, adults, and I'm not talking everybody but me, but myself as well, when you see faults in your children, you want to attack them, realizing that they got them from somewhere. And, you know, and I think anybody that's ever been married a long time with a bunch of kids realizes some of the kids act more like the wife, and some of the kids act more like the husband, and some of their behavior is annoying because of either parent. But if you can clean them up in your life, and if you could pass down virtue to your children, and you could try to break that cycle of generational spirit, then perhaps you can actually change a whole family line, a whole family tree, and knock the demons out of the family tree, and perhaps create some kind of legacy, and you know, some family line or dynasty where you can actually have your whole family go into the world and make it a better place, not just yourself. And I haven't really thought about my own personal sins and my confessions in terms of affecting my children before. I must say, I guess I don't know why I haven't thought of that, but it really does make sense. And if generational spirit is real, and if demons do possess you, and your sins can be passed to your children, clean up your own house first. And oh, by the way, and if you don't, you're harming your children. That may be more motivation for you. So this is Catholic Dad making you think about it. Generational spirit, essentially inherited sins. Clean up your own life and stop it, because if you do that, perhaps you can save your kids' souls as well, which really, that's the ultimate goal, isn't it? Yeah. So anyway, this Catholic Dad making you think about it. Please like or subscribe. Get to Mass and pray the daily rosary and live a sacramental life, everybody. God bless you all.